Good morning, everybody. It's Irene with BrainStormAcres, and this morning I am getting set up to do what we call a glass day, which means I'll be running a glass annealing oven, and I will be making veil pins and hat pins today. There are things that I will not show in my shop. I will not tell you what my annealing schedule is for the glass. I will not show you the actual techniques used to make my other kinds of veil pins, because they are what we call proprietary. It took my husband and I a considerable amount of time and effort to work out the details, so that's something I don't share. Think of Coca-Cola recipes. So now I need to just get started, and I have some scurrying around to do. This has got to get plugged in, and I may need to run an extension cord on that, and a bunch of other stuff like that. So, time to get going. I need a chair for one thing, but I was using this the other day, so we have some things that aren't quite in the right spot. So, chair first. Now, this is a very special chair that Henry bought me a couple of years ago. It's super adjustable. It adjusts from really high to really low, and super useful around the workshop so that I don't always have to stand. And once I actually sit here, I will adjust it to exactly the height I want today to work with. These are built for use in labs. So now that's over there, I can move other stuff around. I need access to this in case I decide to make any glass beads so that they can sit in this like that. Good enough. I need to check the program. So people who make it sound like this is a piece of cake, it's not hard, but it's also not a piece of cake. And in case you're wondering what this is a set of instructions for all the different pieces of equipment I have in here. And like this, I just plugged it in and make sure that there's nobody in it. I've never had anybody in it, but it has occurred to me a mouse could move in if I didn't have it latched correctly.
A few moments later.
We're started. We checked the program, and we're on, and it really is that fast. That's not speeded up or anything. I'm just literally pushing a button and checking a number in my instruction sheet. I have this here because if something goes wrong, I have all the backup instructions. I no longer have to scramble around frantically. Okay, so that is plugged in. This needs to get up to some sort of temperature. I can adjust this while I'm waiting. Oh, because this is way up in the air from working on the wet grinder. Actually hard to get up on when it's this high. Whee! That terrible noise is me pushing a large, what do you call it, Dutch ovens underneath the thing. I use Dutch ovens for cooling some things. That's a good location. I'm happy with that. That's on. I cut all my metal yesterday. It's over here. The metal consists of different sizes, different diameters, and different lengths of stainless steel welding rod. That's what I'll be making the pins for, both the hat pins and the veil pins from. Now the hard part here is I have to figure out how I'm going to film this, because this light from the window is not good. So let's get other stuff ready. I'm going to check the wood stove again. Henry had set the alarm. I didn't know he'd set it. He was going to come down and start the wood stove for me, but I decided to get up anyway a little earlier this morning and get things going, because I wanted to make sure there was some heat in here. So I'm just throwing in on top of a nice bed of coals. It's already modestly warm in here. It was 34 or 35 yesterday morning. This morning it was, let's say, about 10 degrees warmer. Meanwhile, we just wear more sweaters. Yes, meanwhile, we just wear more sweaters. That's got some wood in there. That's ready, that's ready. I need to turn on the propane. Whee, let's spin you guys around. You can see my mess. Woohoo! Stuff, all kinds of stuff. And the propane is over here in the corner. Propane is on, and so is the oxygen. Because this is an oxypropane torch that I use for this. There are other types of gas that you can use for doing glass work. I learned on a product called MAP gas, and it works just fine, but I no longer use it except when I'm camping. And even then, sometimes I don't use it. Okay, let's see if I can get this set up better. Okay, I am just about ready to go. I am now wearing my chic glassworking outfit, consisting of the newest in runway welding jackets and a welding apron. Now, you may say that seems like a little overkill. Well, the first time you get hit with 2500 degree molten glass and it sticks to your skin, or it sticks to your jeans and burns a hole in them, or some fun thing like that, you'll understand why I wear this. Now, a lot of hobbyists, they just try and wear natural fibers, and that's what I highly recommend. Even under this, I am wearing natural fibers. I'm not wearing a lot of plastic that would melt should I accidentally get glass there, because that's a really bad idea. And I actually know some people who've gotten some pretty nasty burns that way. So I have this little kiln, bead kiln, heating up nicely. It's hot enough now that I can throw things in it without worrying about thermal shock. I have the gas turned on. I have not turned it on over here yet, but that's okay. I have eye protection. In order to do glass work, whether you are working on a small hobbyist scale or on a larger professional scale, you have to wear eye protection. The process of melting and forming glass produces a lot of UV, and UV will damage your eyes. In fact, there is actually a specific type of cataract that is known to occur in glass workers. So in order to avoid that, I wear some fairly heavy UV protection. It looks sort of like the glass that comes out of a welding helmet. It is not. It is specifically designed for these type of UV uses. I'm 67 years old. I really don't want to screw up my eyeballs. I need them. I already wear bifocals. I don't want to have any other problems. So, let's get started. Eye protection. Time to turn the fan on. In just a minute. I will start the torch first. I like to let it warm up a little. Now I'm adding oxygen. And I can easily blow it out if I'm not careful. There we go. Especially if I haven't done it in a couple of weeks, I get a little klutzy. There we go. Now we've got some real heat. And now I'm going to turn on the fan. This is an exhaust fan that follows the heat and the fumes. Now, propane itself has fumes, but the color in glass is made using metal salts, and not all of those salts are safe for human consumption. Even in small quantities, it's better to avoid them. There's a color of glass similar to this. Let's see if this is over here. It's close to this. It's a green, and it was originally called uranium glass for a reason. It was made using uranium. Yes, that's stuff that makes you glow in the dark if you work in a nuclear reactor. So that gives you an idea of the kind of metals and metal salts and things like that that have been used in glass over the years, and why we wouldn't want to breathe it. So this is pulling all the fumes off of this, sending it straight out the wall. And the heat too, a lot of it, unfortunately. So let's start with something simple. Hands are cold. I'm going to choose a glass that's pretty stable. It's cold in here, and one of the problems with it being cold in here is the fact that thermal shock. You'll hear me say that a lot. Thermal shock simply means that because of cold or heat, something breaks. It expands too fast, it contracts too fast, the molecular structure of the item cannot tolerate it. People who've done silly things like try to use a Pyrex container that was only designed for oven use on the top of a stove top and have watched it explode have discovered that. Apparently that's a new big problem with people using some of the Pyrex big containers. They don't understand that when they take them out of the microwave boiling hot, they shouldn't set it on a cold countertop. So we have a piece of glass. This is called soft glass. I'll post, I think this is Fetra, which is a specific brand. There's a bunch of brands out there, but this is one of my more common ones. I'm going to grab a small handful of these guys, and I'm just going to start making. You'll watch me put this in and out of the fire a bunch of times. What I'm doing is I'm heating it up gradually rather than just cramming it in there. This particular color that I've chosen is cobalt blue, and it is very stable. It does sometimes pop, but much less frequently than, say, the greens, which have a very explosive tendency. And the greens, I have also found, a lot of times have air inclusions in them, which we don't usually see in the cobalt blue. So once in a while you get a stick of green that is just totally a hunk of junk, and if I had unlimited resources I would simply throw it in the garbage bin. Since I don't, I make it work, but it's a lot of hassle because it spits glass. It literally blows up a lot of times on you, and that's very annoying. The tip of my glass is now glowing nicely, and I can see that the edges of it are rounding off. This was a straight cut across the end, so it had a nice sharp cut to it, but it no longer has sharp corners. It now is starting to get a little wobbly. I am rolling it back and forth with my fingers, and you can see, I think now, it is droopy. Now, when you make glass beads, you use a layer of clay between the glass and the metal so that it doesn't glue permanently. When you're making something where you want the glass to stay on permanently, you simply preheat the metal a tiny bit, and then when you stick the glass to it, it sticks forever, whether you want it to or not. So what I've just done is roll a little bit onto the end of this. This is a sloppy roll, but that's okay, I can fix that. I'm laying my stick down with the tip off of the workbench. It's laying on a piece of metal so that it will not touch the workbench. And now I'm beginning to roll this little piece of welding rod in my fingers, and I'm spinning it. Glass works like molasses or honey or any other liquid, and now I'm just continuing to roll it so that it doesn't slump on me, but as it cools I'll have less and less problem with the slump, and I'm trying to hold it up in front of me so there'll be a solid spot there. Yeah, and it is now cool enough, because I can see there's no glow left in there, that I can use a pair of bits and it's safely in there now. So now it's going to sit in there, and it's going to sit in there until I'm completely done making veil pins. And when I'm completely done making veil pins and hat pins and any other things that I want to stick in the furnace here, the kiln, I will then make it go on to the next phase, which is cooling down and heating up and all that other stuff. And we have a technology fail. Woohoo!